Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to run the STCyclotron Geant4 example on any computer using Docker. So Docker is an app that runs containers, and these containers include everything about an environment. They include the operating system, they include whatever app you have downloaded in there. For someone to use a Docker container, there's almost no setup. You just run it and it works. So the first thing you need to do to run this STCyclotron example is download Docker. So go to docker.com and go over to products, Docker desktop, and download Docker desktop. For here, I'm on Windows. You can do it on Mac or Linux as well. You're going to need to open Docker desktop, and this is what it looks like. And it just needs to be running in order to run any containers. And finally, you want to go to Docker Hub and find my repository. So just look up John 9 Francis on Docker Hub, and here are a few of my Docker images. So just go to the STCyclotron one, and in this repository page, I have written instructions. And so you just need to copy and paste each of these commands and it should work great. Okay, so step one is to create a folder on your desktop where you want to store the STCyclotron results. So I'm just gonna create a new folder here. All right, so inside this folder, I want to create two different command prompts. So just right click in the folder and click open in terminal. And then just do it one more time, open in terminal. So now we have two separate command prompts. So on the left, I'm going to use this command prompt for my STCyclotron container. And on the right, this is going to be my local machine. So first step is to pull the image from Docker Hub. So if you run this command, docker pull John 9 Francis STCyclotron, this is going to go onto Docker Hub and download the image onto your own computer. So the image is basically a set of instructions for how to configure everything inside this container. So this might take you quite a few minutes. It might take 5-10 minutes because it's a big image. It includes all of Geant4, all of root data analysis, and the STCyclotron libraries and everything. For me, it went really fast because I already have it downloaded. Next, we're going to start a container using that Docker image. So just copy and paste this into the left terminal. And basically what this does is it runs a container named STCyclotron container based on the STCyclotron image as instructions, and it's going to run it interactively. So this is a Linux environment. If you know any Linux commands, you can run them in here, and it's basically as if you were in a miniature Linux computer, including the STCyclotron example. But I'm going to do everything on the right side. I can control the entire container outside of it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to extract the macro folder from the STCyclotron example and just put it on our desktop in this folder here. And what we can do with that is adjust some of the initialization parameters, adjust some of the settings, anything we want, and then we can copy it back in. So we're going to run this command in the right side. And what this does is docker copy, it finds the macro folder from inside the container and copies it into our current folder. Press enter. And now if we go into our test folder we have here, click refresh, now we have a macro folder. And so there's an init parameters, a run. These are the two macro files that you can adjust. So what we do at this point is open these in a text editor. Mine opens in VS Code automatically, and just adjust any parameters you'd like. Save that, and now we're going to copy this edited macro file back inside of the container. So I'm going to go here and run this command to put the Mac files back. So this command just does the exact same thing in reverse. It takes the macro folder on your local machine and puts it back into the containers folder. So press enter, and it copies it back in. Now we're going to actually run the STCyclotron simulation. So copy this right here. So I've created a shell script called run, and what that does is it's going to run the Geant4 application, and it's also going to run the data analysis portion that generates all the graphs and fun stuff like that. So just click enter. And you can see it happen here on the right side. It's starting the Geant4 application inside this container. And then it might take a few minutes, but it'll do the whole entire run and then create a bunch of output files. All right, so the run is done. I can go ahead and clear out this terminal now. And now what we're going to do is we're going to copy the results folder that was generated out into our Windows desktop here. So again, just with this Docker copy command, and this time we're going inside the container, finding the results folder and copying it into this current folder. Press enter and it should say successfully copied. So I'm going to go back into our test folder here. And now I have a results folder. So this folder contains all of the produced graphs, text files, everything that was generated from the STCyclotron run. Now at this point, we can do as many runs as we want. We just adjust the parameters we would like in this macro folder, run the command to put the Mac files from your local machine into the container, and then just run that run.shell file in the container using this command right here. Now, once we're done with our simulations, we just go into this container on the left and just type exit, and this should turn off the container. So now it's not running in the background. If you go into Docker Desktop, you can see that our container has been exited. So no containers are running. But if we want to do some more simulations some other day, we can click on this start button and it'll start running. Now, since the container's running, we can do all those commands to copy folders in and out of it or run the simulation. Just to show you guys, I'll just run a quick simulation here. And as you can see, it's running the STCyclotron example. Once it's done, I can take the results folder out again. And there you go.